And welcome, Chaos Nation. We are live once again on Chaos Live, another installment. Good to see you, David. Good to be live once again. And what a stellar 2022 season and last race it was at the Texas Motorplex for Funny Car Chaos, Nitro Chaos. Guys, as you come in, hit that like button, hit that share button. David, it's good to see you, man.
It's good to see you too, man. It seems like it's been a long time, even though it hasn't been all that long. But we do get a chance to stay in touch on the phone and on text, and seeing you on the various programs that you do. So it doesn't feel like it's been all that long since I've seen you. But boy, what a great year it was in 2022, and that closing it out of the championship finals with a stellar race, and an incredible bunch of competitors that showed up and wowed the crowd. And what was a tremendous way to close out the year. And it's got me chomping at the bit, waiting for the opportunity to talk to these two racers that we've got on tap tonight.
Yes, for sure. We got Shayne Lawson, the Man of War Funny Car. We're going to have him on along with Tom Furches in the Man Made in America Funny Car. Tom Furches had a stellar year in Funny Car Chaos competition, and Shayne Lawson, we definitely see a turnaround in progress. And I know he cannot wait to get back out for 2023 and see what Team Man of War can get done out there on the strip in Funny Car Chaos competition.
Yeah, it was a tale of a couple of seasons for Furches, and it was a long way back. It felt like for a while for Man of War, but we'll look forward to hearing what they've got to say about all the travails of going through a full season, as both of these competitors chased it hard, had their successes, got themselves in the winner's circle, and have a great story to tell. So we will bring them on very shortly, and give everybody a chance to hear from these two racers.
David, the top five, I want to bring this graphic up, is from the Facebook page. The top five, obviously we know who our champion was in Kirk Williams and Williams Brothers Racing, but each and every one of these teams and these individuals had a fascinating story throughout 2022 to get to the point where they are. I think one of the most fascinating has to be the man there in fifth place, Troxel and Schneider, the driver, Chris Schneider. They were like biting their nails through that last event to see where they would finish, and they wound up being in the top five. I know they want more, but give us the breakdown of some of the stories that we had from the top five this year, David.
Well, I'm telling you, of course, one of the story of Kirk Williams has been told and told repeatedly, but 6 wins in 8 final rounds, and what a year they had. They're now up to a record of 8-4 in final rounds. As in the 2 years that they've been racing with us, they've got 12 final round appearances, and they've taken home that one-of-a-kind Chaos Trophy 8 different times, and of course 6 times this year. And as I heard Kirk say on one of the interviews, they only left 6 points on the table the entire year, and that's pretty amazing. When you take out the drop, then the maximum number of points that they could have had, they only left 6 off of that. So an incredible season for them. Second place, Tom Furches, with a couple of wins and a couple of runner-ups and semifinals, or maybe it's the other way around, a runner-up and a couple of semifinal finishes. And it was a long season for them. It had its ups and downs, but it certainly finished out on a high note as they came into the last race hoping to maintain that second spot, and having several competitors anxious to unseat the Made in America team, but unable to do that. Among those, of course, Jeff Cameron, who stuck around for some final rounds and got into the winner's circle finally up at Kearney, Nebraska, as they broke through, and all that Hemi horsepower that they plugged in this year has really helped them to advance and continue to bring their program up to the level that they aspire to. And I know that there is no top on what they aspire to until they are grasping that championship banner as a Funny Car Chaos season champion. But it's there's certainly a mountain to climb from, even from number 3. Number 4, the San Antonio team of the American Dream. This team has got 4 finals or 5 finals that they have been in, and haven't closed the deal yet. They've had the opportunity that they could have a couple of times, and of course, each and every time it's just going to make it a little bit sweeter when they do break out and find themselves in a final round yet again, and take that coveted trophy back to San Antonio. So we will anticipate great things in 23 from the Dream Team down in San Antonio. And then number 5, after having finished number 2 in the world a couple of years ago, the Brutus Mach 1 Mustang team, the Show Me State boys, they came into the race and unfortunately had a problem with the power plant, and were unable to go any further after like their first run down the racetrack. And so the points for them stopped at that point. So it began to be a wait and see to see how their other competitors that had a chance to knock them out of the top 5 to see if they would actually be able to do it. And at the end of the day, they wound up hanging on to that number 5 spot. And of course, that was a big sigh of relief for that team. But any one of a number of competitors could certainly have come in and knock them out of that spot. But they do get to hang on to that top 5 finish, and of course the prize money and the bragging rights that go with that. So, an amazing season for those 5 competitors, to go with the amazing season that the 90 plus racers who raced with us in 2022. Is that not amazing?
It is.
It's
truly amazing.
I think scored points, and you take the exhibition race and it was 91. Just absolutely mind-boggling.
Who knew there was that many funny cars? I mean, honestly, I did not know. And what Chris and Tara Graves and you all have done with Funny Car Chaos is, people are building more funny cars. People have got a place to go race and a place to feel welcome to race and enjoy doing it. We have heard from so many people this year alone. We had fun. We're coming back. We love the chaos. So maybe we'll hit 100 next year. I think I think we can do it.
I would just about bet money on it. I am anticipating the announcement. We've already seen the announcement of the events, 7 or 8 that are already posted on the schedule, and of course those are all in familiar territory. But the possibility remains open as negotiations go on with some other racetracks that there could be some new geography. Well, almost every time with new geography comes new racers.
Right.
And so I'm anticipating that we will break that triple digit mark in 2023. That will just be so much fun to see each of these new competitors joining the competitors that have been racing with us, and more fans getting the opportunity to come out and experience the fun, to experience the environment, to live a little chaos like we've been doing, and make that their brand too. So cannot wait. And of course, in the off season, I've got a few more races left to do, but none of them are Funny Car Chaos, of course, because we've got that one in the books. But a lot of getting ready has already begun for what's going to happen in the coming season.
I cannot wait for 2023. 2022 was stellar. It was great. Looking forward to it for sure. Well, David, how about we take a break and we bring on our first guest of the night, Shayne Lawson of the Man of War Funny Car. What do you say?
I'm ready for it. I'll see you after the break.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Spell Paving Services provides professional customer service and performance for your next industrial or large-scale private paving project. From parking lots, roads and driveways, to seal coat, chip seal, concrete and asphalt, there's no job too big for the team at Spell Paving Services. Serving a 500-mile radius from Dallas-Fort Worth, Spell Paving Services has you covered. Call 214-384-3056 to get a competitive quote today and tell them the Chaos sent you.
And welcome Shayne and Bonnie Lawson, who in fact is actually the real star of the show, the backup girl of the year for 2022. Congratulations, young lady.
Thank you.
How are y'all tonight?
Great, doing great.
Really doing well, and glad to see both of you there. That's one of the things that really makes you very visible is the fact that this is such a family operation. The Man of War team, the whole bunch is out there and visible and making a great impression and a great appearance. Everything from the racing to the backup girls to the calendars, everything that y'all do. Congratulations on such an amazing presence. I know there's a lot of work that goes into that.
Yeah, there's a lot of work. It starts with all the behind the scenes at the shop. She does a lot of work. She does sponsor proposals. Of course, helps me keep Pamela's car up and going. And if she has to, obviously you guys have seen it, she helps me with the funny car at the shop when I'm short-handed.
Excellent. Well, so you guys got had your third final round appearance, I believe it is, and your second win. And two teams from Oklahoma wind up making their way into the final round and into victory circle. That was quite the experience getting the Motorplex treatment. Shayne, how did you enjoy that celebration after the win?
It was definitely good, especially the struggles we had at the beginning of the season, especially when we opened up there and we, had some pretty good catastrophic failure in the motor and tore a bunch of stuff up. So kind of put us behind the 8-ball, and the changes I made even put me behind the 8-ball even more. So then, then Ken came on board and started helping me out and was getting some things turned around. And it was actually really nice because I was actually getting frustrated, and I know my guys were getting frustrated, and I'm trying to keep them from being frustrated and stay positive. But at the end of the day, when you get that W, it turns things around.
Yeah, that's a way to get well in a hurry. Well, that was one of the things that the fans talked about, and one of the observations that was made on more than one occasion. Of course, at the Labor Day Classic back in 21, you guys got the win out there and finished up the season on a very, very high note, especially at that event. And then 2022 seemed to be kind of a struggle, but once again finishing on just about as high a note as you can with that Alki-Digger B field win at the Motorplex. You've raced before. I can see the trophies behind you, and looks like you've got some good wins under your belt.
Yes,
This is your first time on Funny Car Chaos Live. Tell us where your racing history is, what you've done, and about the learning curve coming into this full-time chasing of the Chaos title.
Of course, it started back in the junior program back in the early mid-90s, and then my senior year in high school I went to a super comp car, chased the local deal for a while, went in HRA racing, and then I started helping a guy on an alcohol funny car and drove it for 2 years, and then I went back to the dragster scene and started driving the nitro injected cars. Drove for Todd Odom and Tom Conway, Randy Meyer, and a couple other people. Had some very good success, and then went back on my own with a top dragster, and then ended up in the funny car deal, and here we are. It's a totally different ball game, running this deal on your own, but it's actually very enjoyable. It's family oriented, and it makes it worthwhile.
Man, some of those names you just dropped right there. Talk about coming from a good bloodline as far as where where you came from. I love college football, and I look back on the coaching trees, the family trees of the coaching, because if you look at Hal Mumme from Kentucky and Hayden Fry from Iowa, and Bill Belichick is now in the pros, but one of his coaching tree, family tree, is very distinguished, and it kind of starts with Nick Saban. But whether you like college football or whether you don't, the heritage, the family tree from which you come, when you've got people like that you've raced with, raced for, learned from, that's one of those things that allows you to do well yourself. And then what I see at your place is pass it on to your daughter and eventually to both kiddos. And of course, we see you at the races, not only racing the big car, but Junior Dragster comes out as Pamela's behind the wheel, and you guys are chasing the competition and the passion for competition in that field as well.
Yeah, she definitely loves it and she enjoys it. I enjoy it, and actually, I have just as much fun watching her as I do doing my own thing. Obviously, hopefully, the little man wants to do it as well. You know, we got some things in the work, but I don't know about him. He's so wild. He'll probably make me go broke in the first month, but you know, at the end of the day, that's my goal, is for me to step out and one or if not both of them to take over and enjoy it and experience it and see what it's all about. Of course, Pamela, you know, she wants to. She's leading the points at the local Tulsa track here, so we're pretty stoked about that. And she got her you know, won a Wally this year at the Junior Challenge, and which is very exciting for her and us as parents. So it's definitely it's a lot of work, but it's definitely rewardable.
Congratulations.
Well,
Dad's going to get kicked out of the seat soon.
Yeah,
Did we get
that's
that on record? Did
yeah.
we get that on record that he's going to step down someday?
what if run 3?
Yeah. Talk about chaos.
That'd be really chaos there.
Well, you mentioned the backup girl of the year, and congratulations on that, Bonnie. And of course, you guys have got this calendar that helps to publicize and make people more aware of the sites at the track and the hard work that goes into that position. Tell us about that.
Is that on me?
Yes, that's you.
Yeah, we just wanted to do something different for our team this year, and which we still did the t-shirts and all of that. And so I have a really good group of girlfriends, and of course some of them didn't know who Jungle Pam was, so I would say Google her. And then they got to the house and I had a bunch of outfits for them, and I said, pick what you want. And of course some of them were like, you wear this? And I'm like, yep, sure do. And run down a track and wave and all the things. So, but we both have a great support system behind us. So everybody goes with our crazy ideas, and the calendar was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I think that'll probably be an every other year kind of thing. Shane's got something up his sleeve for next season. So that'll be exciting to watch.
Well, very, very good. Well, getting the support for people of that important position and that important aspect of the show is great. One of the things, I think that comes naturally. I think that runs through your bloodstream. I notice periodically throughout the year, just about every time there's a race or there's a need, Iron Cross Dirtwork Design steps up as a helper for other racers and for funding the D fields whenever we have those times where we might have enough cars to go ahead and qualify 32 or something like that. So on behalf of your competitors and Funny Car Chaos and all of us out in Chaos Nation, we want to say thanks to you for your business stepping up, week in, week out, and helping more people be able to compete and to have something to compete for. Thank you.
Absolutely.
It's what it's all about at the end of the day. If I'm able to do something like that, I want to, because at the end of the day, that's what you're supposed to do, and that's what I want to do, or I should say, we want to do. It just benefits everybody at the end of the day. I mean, if I get the exposure or not, that's not what it's all about. It's helping fellow racers, because at the end of the day, we're all one big family out there, and if I can give a little bit that helps and allow somebody to be able to race on Saturday, then let's do it.
Well, that's a great outlook. Now, it's not a secret because it's been on Facebook, is you've got another car and the old one is being retired or something. Bring us up to speed on your race car situation and what about the old one, and tell us about the new one.
So the old one, the old body is going to retirement. It won't work on the new chassis, so we're just going to suspend it in the shop. We did get a new car. We bought that McKinney chassis that Alan Bradshaw had. So it's going to have more of a modern body on it. We're going to sell the other one as a roller. Intense that, we're going to really try to get after it this year. Me and Ken have spoke about some things, and we've made some decisions, and we're going to try to step our game up a little bit so we can run with old Kirk.
Well, that's good. So one win, one runner-up this year, finished in the 13th spot. And there's there's room between there and the top. And you mentioned that Ken has come on board as a tuning consultant, or I'm not sure exactly what the title is, but he's certainly impacting your operation. And you guys finished the season on a real high. Tell us about 23 and what the fans can look for from Team Man of War.
Ken will be back next year. He'll be at all the events. If we're there, he'll be there. Our goal is to just start picking at this thing and getting it faster and faster, where we can get in the 70s, maybe if not the 60s, where, like I say, where we can run with Kirk. And obviously at the end of the day, we would like to have that number one on the side instead of Kirk. But, he's a tough competitor. He's very good, and he's been doing it a long time, and Kirk's a very good driver. He's got a good crew, and they got the thing figured out. So he's going to be a tough one to chase down. But like I've always said before, if you want to be the best, you got to run with the best and chase the best, and that's what we're here to do.
And eventually got to beat the best if you want to be the best. Well, competition brings out the competitive juices and makes everybody step up their game. And I can see and hear it in your voice that you guys are stepping it up and coming to play for keeps. That's exciting for all of us in Chaos Nation, because that's going to be a great battle amongst you two and several others who are thinking the exact same thing. Lee, this 2023 season is already off to a rip-roaring start, and haven't even finished 22.
For sure. I mean, we've got Shane saying, hey, I'm stepping up. We've got, Jeff Cameron saying, hey, don't count me out. You've got that Alter dude that won the championship coming over to run a funny car too. Felt so awkward in the flex with everybody. I got a bunch of funny car drivers. We're going to the stage, and I'm like, yes, funny car. Oh, one Alter dude. What are you here for? What is going on? No, Zimmerer, congratulations, and looking forward to having him in a funny car next year. It is going to be a heck of a show in 2023.
Yeah, it will. Well, man, we thank you, Shane and Bonnie, so much for being a part of Chaos Live tonight and letting everybody get some insights into what makes you folks tick. We appreciate you being a part of Chaos Nation, and absolutely cannot wait till the next time we get a chance to shake hands and see each other in person. So thank you very, very much for being on Chaos Live tonight.
Well, I appreciate you having us, and
Thank
we
you,
very
guys.
look forward to the 2023 season and getting after it and doing some good this year.
Very cool. Very cool. That body, that new one, it better be a Mustang.
It is.
Yes! Yes! Okay, good.
And there's I'm going to just give you a little inside. There's something else that may pop out. I haven't got all the details worked out, but there may be something else that's going to be a little bit of a catch as well.
Okay.
We're all going to be surprised.
She knows.
I know.
Women.
Well, if
Comes
it
by
works-
naturally.
Oh, okay. Oh,
That's real.
wow.
That's fine.
Yeah, we'll let you deal with that one off camera. No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, if
thank
it works
you.
out, I have no doubt it's going to be very, very cool.
Appreciate you guys.
Take care.
All right.
You all have a great evening.
You
Bye.
too.
Good night.
Oh man, David, like you said, I love hearing these people saying we're going to step up to beat Kirk Williams. I love it.
I tell you what, Kirk Williams said the same thing. I'm going to step up, and so the battle for the championship, it bodes well for the series that so many people are interested, not only interested but enthusiastic about coming and running the series and advancing all the way up the ladder as far as their resources and their abilities and their skill set and their luck can take them. There's a lot less luck than there is skill, but certainly sometimes some racing luck comes into play. But what a great group of racers that we have and
Yes.
chasing this series.
And the more that you have chased the series and do it seriously and do it at a high level competitively, that adds more prestige over time to being a Funny Car Chaos champion. And it says to everyone else in a funny car, you need to come here and race, and you need to come here and win. And it is not easy. And you can do it from the C field, the B field, the A field, even occasionally a D field, and earn those points and go out there and win a championship. But if you want to be king of funny cars, this is a place to come and do it and be that.
Well, we certainly invite racers to come on out, and of course, out there in the business world, whether it's racing or whether it's non-racing, the amount of reach that this series is garnering in the cyber world, in the real world out there, putting eyeballs in front of things like this program and our races and all the coverage that comes from it. We certainly have the opportunity for aspiring companies to step forward and join the fun, because it is so much fun doing this, and the marketing partners that we have are, the word so far is at least most of them are coming back, and they may all be coming back. I don't know. I don't have that. I don't have all those details, but I know that the biggest part are, and we are really enthusiastic about that. Just cannot say enough good things about the people like Fred Spell and Ed Wulff and Mike Chilando and Marvin Rodak, and could I go on? Yes, I could. But all those people who are putting their money where their mouth is and have been supporters of CHAOS in a big way, and are reaping the rewards of that association. And we certainly love to provide them with return on investment. And there's opportunity for others to step forward and do that. And we are reaching out to people and hopefully making that happen. But if you're watching and you would like to get in on the fun, and we would encourage you to reach out to CHAOS and find out how you can help.
And that ROI is real, David. This show is presented by Wulff Pumps, and the Wolf man, Edward Wulff, has mentioned regularly that his partnership with Funny Car Chaos, he has seen true ROI to his business, Wulff Pumps, unlike sponsoring elsewhere within drag racing. And to your mention of exposure, Tara Graves has, from what I understand from Chris, she's taken over the Instagram Reel side of things. Those are the little short vertical videos you see on Instagram, and many of them have got hundreds of thousands of views. One of them even has like 27 million views on Instagram. Yes, the Instagram page blew up from like 6,500 followers to, I think, roughly around 70,000 followers now, if not even more. But Funny Car Chaos can get your product, can get your company, can get your name out there that much further compared to many other places in drag racing, no matter where they might be. Well, David, someone who's making a name for himself and really already has in Funny Car Chaos world, finishing second in the points, that's Tom Furches. We've got him ready and queued up to go. You ready to talk to Tom, David?
I'm ready anytime to talk to Tom.
Let's do it right after this break, ladies and gentlemen.
Not many race car shops can say they've been in business for 60 years, but we can. Here at S&W Race Cars, we specialize in welding and fabricating, designing and building door car, dragster, funny car, and alter chassis. We provide water jet cutting and other production services. We have several thousand roll bars and roll cages, custom tube bending, fabricated 9-inch forward housings, and rear frame kits. We run a full-service machine shop, and so much more we couldn't squeeze into a 30-second commercial. Give us a call at 1-800-523-3353 or visit our website.
Oh, wow. Well, that commercial before I thought. But we got Tom anyway. Tom, welcome to the show. Good to have you all the way from Colorado. Doesn't he look very kingly with that backdrop behind him? Looks like he's been on his throne in his castle. And you definitely royally was able to make your way to a second place finish in the point standings. Congratulations on that. I want to simply begin with why Made in America for your funny car? A lot of folks go with patriotic themes. You have as well, but why, in particular, Made in America?
Well, I guess the story behind that isn't really all that exciting. The car that I drive is an old Lucas Oil car, and the body, the way that it's painted now, was Lucas Oil colors. It was red, white, and blue, and I talked it over with a buddy of mine, Tony, and I was like, man, we need to think of a name for this. And his car is named the Firefighter due to the fact that he's a firefighter for West Metro here in Denver in Colorado. So Made in America, you know, it's a good idea. We're consuming a lot of parts. If we can buy more Made in America parts, it's better. And I knew that it'd be the Made in America theme, or the American theme overall, would be good with the fans, and they could really enjoy it and have a good time with it. And that's kind of why the whole car came about, is so we could go out and have a good time and have some fun.
I thought it was an old Lucas car. I thought
It
that.
is.
I thought that.
Todd Lysenko out of Chicago.
Boom.
Excellent. Well, again, welcome back to Funny Car Chaos. We've had you on before, and it certainly is good to see you once again. So you go number 5 in 2021 and move up 3 spots to that number 2. Did you have any thinking and coming into that finals that anybody was going to catch you?
Oh, I really thought Schneider was hot on my tail. Unfortunately, he had a really bad luck situation, a lot like Shane had a bad luck situation at the first race of the year. Chris had the same thing happen in Dallas in the end, but I was really concerned with Chris, and you know, you have to be on your game to keep in the points, and it's tough. It's a tough deal overall.
Well, you've you got the 2 wins this year, had a couple of semifinals and a runner-up. So, you know, the other races, you know, you've got a drop race and a couple others with the first round exit, but going from race to race and making sure that you're there has paid big dividends for you. And, you know, the first time we saw you back in 2018, one race, and then I think we didn't see you but one more time in the next 2 years. But man, it's certainly been a good decision. At least I think it's been a good decision for you to chase the championship in CHAOS. It's certainly been good for us, the fans, to get more exposure to you and to see your operation.
I think Funny Car Chaos, hands down, a fantastic idea. I give Chris a hard time when I see him in the staging lanes right before the water box, and I give him a hard time about, you know, this was your idea, this whole operation that everybody's here for. This is all you, and you like to have fun with it. But it's a lot of fun, and I'm a competitor. I like to compete at a high level. I want to go out there and go toe-to-toe with the biggest and baddest that are on the property. And that's how I've thought about drag racing from the beginning. Funny Car Chaos has definitely changed my opinion on that a little bit, because going toe-to-toe with Singleton and Williams is tough for a roots car guy.
Yeah, it can be a tall order, but with the B field, C field, and occasionally the D fields, you know, it gives everybody the opportunity to run what they can run, and not have to outspend the competition necessarily to have a high finish. So you have, you know, for the race fans that have watched on Flow Racing and have been at our events, you'll always see Tom at the starting line. He's tall. He'll be out there with his fire suit on and checking out the starting line. So you don't have to look very hard to see Tom, as he's very visible at the races. And then, of course, when that Made in America car fires up and it turns on another wind light, it's another day at the office. But you guys have you've been running this car for a while, and it's performing well for you. Do you go into the off season with the idea of freshening up, or are you doing what some of these other competitors are thinking of changing equipment? What's happening in your world?
No, for 2023, we're going to bring the same car in a roundabout fashion that we've brought the last 2 years. It's a competitive car. It's definitely not the fastest car, but when the car lights up, it'll 98, 97% of the time, it's going to make an A to B pass, and it's going to be competitive. Is it the fastest? No, it's not, but you have to get around us to turn that wind light on, and we make it tough for the people in the other lane. And if you can do that, you've heard the people that have won the championships. You've heard consistency wins championships. And look what Kirk did. He went out there, and he was probably hands down the most consistent car week in and week out. He's got the number one on the side, and that's what we're chasing. And God bless those guys for doing it, because they're leading the way, and we're right behind them.
Well, we've talked to you before about your past, and of course, you've got those championship belts, championship trophies from racing in other series, and so we know that you've got that competitive desire and that burn to win. And A to B gets it done when you're consistent. We're talking with Shane a minute ago about heritage and family trees and that kind of thing. And not only do you've got your own heritage and family tree of racing, but you're spawning other people to get into racing by speak specifically of a guy that was working with you. And of course, you're not the only influence in his life, but Steve Grabowski working on your crew and then being a hired gun for somebody, now comes out with his own funny car. And so, this Colorado delegation is expanding, which is a great thing in my book.
It's great being in Colorado, because we can hold our own from time to time. And Grabowski's a great individual, very mechanical, owns a repair business here in Colorado. I don't want to give away any secrets for Steve, but he has been around a lot of fast cars. At one point, he was a fuel car owner in the 90s. So the fact that he's in a nitro car now, having fun and basically hauling on his own, is no surprise to the people that really know Steve.
Well, it has been a blast to see that car come out and run alongside you and run alongside the rest of the competitors. So what do you see for 2023 for Made in America?
More of the same. We're going to be out there. We're going to be competitive. We're going to try and move up. It's nice to be in the second spot, because you only got to move up one. That one spot to earn is going to be a huge challenge. You heard Shane. Kirk's not going to give it up easily. Jake's Speed Shop is, he's going to be in the mix. There's a bunch of cars, and there's more coming, and it's tough. But we're not going to lay down for anybody. We're going to be out there giving them hell, and we're going to be shooting for a championship. We've got one spot to go, and I think we can do it.
Spoken like a true champion on his way up, and we can't wait to see how that plays out. So you've seen the announcements of the schedule. Are there limitations on how far you can or will travel, or do you, if we have a race show up a little further east, does that put you? Of course, you got the drop situation that someone can do, but are you expecting to be at all the races?
The goal is yes. We're going to try. To be honest, Baton Rouge is quite a good distance from the middle of Colorado. We had to do some things, leave the truck in Ennis and then fly in and drove down and some other things. So it'll be interesting to see. So far, the schedule that has come out, we were kind of planning on Cordova for 22, but the fact that it wasn't a points race kind of helped us, and we chose not to go to that race. But we plan to run a full season in 23 and be competitive, because these cars, we run them pretty hard. So you never know when that gremlin's going to come up and bite you, and that drop race might need to be somewhere where you weren't planning on putting it. And if you're going to run for points and you're going to be competitive, attending these races and building and earning those points week to week is important. And it's important for us because this year, I don't know how many people follow the series race to race and are in deep with the ideas of what's going on. But when we were in Kearney, Nebraska, that was a first round loss for us this year, and very disappointing for us due to the fact that after we lost first round, we watched Jeff Cameron go to the finals and win the race. And Jeff and I were head to head battling it out for points. And I'm watching Jeff drive away for a win that weekend. And then the very next weekend, we flipped. Where were we? I forget where we were after Kearney. And Jeff happened to lose first round on bad luck, I believe. And we were able to go take the win. And it was a complete role reversal. So if you're paying attention and you're watching the series from week to week and you're watching how the competitors are battling it out amongst each other, it's really good. I can't imagine that it's not great flow vision TV when you're watching this at home and to get your commentary, because I watch and I listen and you're like, hey, these are where these people are at and they're duking it out. And it's real. These competitors are trying hard, and it really makes a difference if you're out there every weekend and you're trying and you're competing. Not every weekend's going to go your week, except unless you're Singleton or Williams, but we'll leave those guys out of it.
Well, that race you're talking about was Mocan, and you're exactly right. It was an exact role reversal, and that's where you got your second win of the year. Well, that is great insight. That's a little inside baseball, inside funny car driver world. You guys absolutely watch every point. You go back, and we don't ever have to check any points. If they're ever wrong, somebody's going to call and say, hey, right over here. Because it came down to just, the very small number of points between number 1 and number 5, and actually between number 1 and number 9. There were so many people that could have bumped it up as high as number 5. And that type of close racing, the preparation that you and your team and these other teams put in so that they're ready to go on race day, it doesn't always work out because mechanical things fail, but it's certainly not from lack of you guys and your teams putting in the work and putting in the effort. So, boy, great insight right there. Love hearing that. Let's see. We've got what we got? We got March is where we're going to have our next thing. We're anticipating the Texas Motorplex, the Classic, being another big spectacular event that we get a chance to be at. How does it feel coming to an event that big? That's one of the. It's not only one of the biggest races of the year; it's one of the biggest races there is. Yeah. And that's one of the things that I used to would dream about, actually having to be an opportunity to be a part of it. But how about for Tom?
21 was a pretty darn good year for us at the Motorplex. Better than we could have ever imagined and had prepared for. We didn't expect it to turn out that way as well. But, we work on these cars in and out day after day, and then we get to the racetrack and we do the same thing. We work on them every minute from the time we wake up to the time we turn down for the night. And I would actually like to be a spectator, to sit in the stands at the Motorplex early in the beginning of the year. It's your first race of the year as a spectator, and you're sitting in the stands and just pair after pair after pair. All you have to do is just have another soda brought out to you, and you've got a full afternoon. I mean, I can't imagine anything better than watching 60 funny cars of all different calibers, all different combinations out there, and being a fan and a spectator and watching that take place. We're busy. We've got work to do. There's work to be done to prepare for the next round. But to be a spectator at an event like that, it's got to be amazing.
Yeah, it is. And on those events like that where there's, 30 plus pair coming up, you by the time you finish the 32nd or 33rd pair, the first pair can come back up. It's just nonstop funny cars, and that is living a dream right there for this guy.
And I think that, one of the things we talk about the Motorplex, it's probably the nicest facility that we go to all year. But one of my favorite pictures, and I wish I knew who took it, which one of the photographers had taken the picture. It actually came from Amarillo. and I believe it was, I want to say 2021, the grandstands at Amarillo are packed, and they're not bad. They're pretty decent size. They seat a lot of people, and they're packed shoulder to shoulder from the bottom row to the top. And everybody it looks like everybody's having a fantastic time. And what I mean by this is, we go to the big markets and we go to these top-notch facilities, but we also go to some of the smaller facilities and smaller markets around the country where the people don't get to see cars like this a lot. And those people, even when we go, Kearney, Nebraska is a perfect example. A good facility. Those people don't get to see cars like this on a regular basis. And it's exciting. It's something to see. And we bring out a product that people want to be a part of, whether it's driving a car, going to visit, buying a T-shirt. People want to be around it, and people want to have fun. And Chris and Tara really nailed it on this opportunity, and you can see it in the results.
A great perspective right there. And when they have the ride dragsters along and people are standing in line and just can't, and I think it was Kearney that they actually had to turn people away because we completely ran out of time, and people were lined up to ride in the ride dragsters, those 2-seat and 3-seat dragsters. There's a market, there's a need, there's a hunger for this type of competition, but not only the competition, but this kind of fun. We talk about it all the time, that rule number one is to have fun. And if you don't like to have fun, chaos is not your thing.
Yeah.
But if you like having a good time,
I always give my guys a hard time and say, we take fun and turn it into work. But at the end of the day, it's still fun.
A great perspective. Lee, I'm going to have to write that down.
Yes, yeah. That could go on the media side as well, for sure.
Absolutely. These photographers out there are doing work too.
They are. Well, Tom, how this year, and I would imagine the other years as well, you've been a solid B field car. Yeah. And almost any other racing platform, that would mean a lesser car. But in Funny Car Chaos, that's not the case. It's just where you happen to fit within the total of the amount of cars that have qualified for a weekend of A, B, C, potentially D fields for a race. Do you feel like that's not the best spot to be? Because we hear all these people, especially next year, it seems like they're all gunning to be A field cars and to beat each other up in the A field. And you're like, hey, I'm going to be in the B field. Come on.
The way the points are set up, I don't think it really matters. I mean, Jade last year was exactly the same perspective from a C field car. Big block, nitrous injected, super competitive, very consistent runner. Ended up in third place 2021 because she earned it. That was a great running car. No, we have some limitations. We don't have some of the budgets that some of the other teams do. So a Roots is our application, and we've been doing it for a while. So that's going to benefit us in the fact that we have all the data, we have all the information that we need to move that car forward, and we have some of the technology on the car available to us that allows us to put it in specific spots when it becomes necessary or available to us. And just like, you see the pros and you see the guys talk about it on TV, those qualifying points and those round points that we get, those make a big deal. I heard someone speak of it earlier on the program tonight that Williams only left 6 points on the table. We missed a qualifying round in Kearney because we had some awful scenarios taking place for mechanics trying to get the car ready. And we left 5 points on the table that should have been collected by the Made in America car. And we were unable to do it. And I really thought that those 5 points were going to make a difference when it came down to the finals. Luckily, they didn't. But we have to pay attention to that and do the best that we can.
Yeah, those 5 points, they wound up not making a difference. But you're exactly right. They could have. Going into the finals, that 5 points was looking pretty big.
Yeah. It was those points are hard to come by. And when you can gather up 8 points for a number one qualifying position in any one of those fields, those points carry a long ways. So, Lee, to get back to where your question came from, it definitely behooves the number one qualifier overall, not the number one in each field, because you're going to get those qualifying points. And being the fastest car, this is still a heads-up series. You still have to get to the finish line first. And being that A field top, even top three, obviously you're going to get more points as the number one qualifier, but the top three people that are out, that duking it out with each other, they're going to have a better opportunity, in my opinion, to collect more points on a consistent basis, just being the faster car. So when you end up as a B field or C field or D or whatever, however you end up as a competitor, you have to be able to adjust and tune for the conditions that are out there, what's given to you to make the best of your opportunity if you're not one of those top three or you're not one of the fastest cars on the property for the weekend. So those are just some of the challenges that I see from a slower car. And we're not always the slowest car. We're definitely not always the fastest car, but you have to be able to work with what you're given to be competitive. And some of this is by practice. And I think Williams and Singleton have proven that practice pays off.
Speaking of practice and knowing what you're shooting at, if you don't have a target, you're going to hit it every time, which is nothing. But you've got a target. It seems to me like you've got a target pretty well figured out, because you wind up collecting 8, 7, 6 points for qualifying 1, 2, 3 in the B field or C field in certain cases in a huge car count. So that's very astute. That's one of the observations that I've made about how you guys run, and that's excellent. It's making the most of the rules in your favor.
We try.
Yeah, that's fun. Well, man, what a pleasure to spend time with you again. We're going to look forward to seeing your face in person and carrying on this conversation at the races as we go into 2023. And we'll be watching for you to make every effort to take that one final step,
one more
up there towards the championship. Man, always a pleasure to have you with us.
Guys, I really appreciate the time to come on and talk with you and share and enjoy the chaos.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, guys.
Well, David, we got, I don't know, roughly like 7 more minutes until we're to a full hour. And I've got some schedule graphics to bring up. How about we talk about a little funny car chaos, meaning nitro chaos scheduling?
Yeah, let's do.
So, how crazy do you think Eddyville is going to be with a double header?
Going to Eddyville is a blast. That track is like going to the park and by the way, they just happen to have a racetrack there.
Yes.
It is so picturesque out there in that setting. And we've had big car counts for Funny Car Chaos there before. Now you add Nitro Chaos to it, and it's going to be wall-to-wall pro show. I think this is a home run. I think this is Hank Aaron stepping into the batter's box, and you're just waiting to see him launch one. That is going to be crazy good, crazy fun. To double up like that, I never even crossed my mind that would be something that we would try. But got to tell you, that's one of those things. Never been done exactly like that before. It's going to be a first for Nitro Chaos and Funny Car Chaos to be at the same event. That to me just screams be there. I mean, in the truest form of the old radio commercials, I mean, that one screams be there.
The first ever Nitro Chaos was at Eddyville. This first ever double header of the two brands coming together at one track will take place there. First time Eddyville. Yes, I agree. It is certainly a be there. I think it's a win for both brands. I think it's a win for Gerald Kramer and his team there at Eddyville Raceway Park. This makes so much sense in so many ways. And if I remember correctly, let me bring it back. I think that's actually going to be a Saturday, Sunday, not a Friday, Saturday. So that's going to be interesting on Memorial Day weekend as well. Do some big time racing on Sunday.
Yes, I just noticed that 3 days there, 26, 27, 28. I'm gonna have to get into that calendar a little bit more.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. We also have another Nitro Chaos date announced. We're going to be back at Mocan, July 14th through the 15th.
I'm telling you that was such a good event right there, where we got the first chance for our A fuel, modern rear engine A fuel cars. We've had A fuel cars before that were nostalgia front engine slingshot cars, but having the Randy Meyer Racing bunch there, that was new and it was different, but they didn't run away. They didn't run away with the show. Yeah, one got in the winner's circle, but that was such a competitive event with those nitro fuel altereds and nitro funny cars. I mean, it was nip and tuck and a great show. Yes. We had all different cars, all different persuasions, and Smoking Mocan Dragway is a great place to have any kind of a drag race. So being back there with Nitro Chaos once again, that's going to be super cool.
I agree. Yes. At the end of the day, it might have looked like the A Fuel modern dragsters of Randy Meyer Racing dominated, and certainly they won. They were both in the finals. But no, War Wagon was right there. Jody Austin in Bushwhacker gave a great run as well. The Nitro Fuel Altereds, they stepped up and they showcased that this strange, quirky, yet heaven of a drag race in Nitro Chaos, it works. And you can see great competition against all these different types of drag cars on Nitro Methane. Well, we've got many of the Funny Car Chaos races already scheduled. They've been slowly announced on the Funny Car Chaos Facebook page, but there's still room for more, and we're still waiting for more big news to drop. But right now, what we know is the Classic back at State Capitol, back at Pinwheel Nights Raceway there in Odessa, and we also will go to Cordova for a points race, and then we're going back in the midst of the corn, Kearney Raceway Park.
Each one of these racetracks has their own personality, and as Tom alluded to, there's places with fairly small markets. They don't have the grandstands that will seat 20,000 people, and they are smaller towns, smaller venues. A lot of times, older school venues, places such as Amarillo, that was a super track of days gone by, but there's much more modern tracks that have come about. But having these events at these racetracks such as State Capitol Raceway and of course Cordova and Kearney and Pinwheel Nights, that is part of the DNA of Funny Car Chaos, because we began at a small track in Denton County, Texas, called North Star Dragway, and then went to Mocan, over to the Joplin area, to Amarillo, to Havana, Illinois, and back to Denton. But that type track is where Funny Car Chaos became what it has become. It was quite a while before we went to a track such as the Texas Motorplex, that was one of the more modern, up-to-date, bigger stand type racetracks. I think probably the first one that we went to was US 131 Motorsports Park up in Michigan, and incredible facility, and played to a full house as well, as they had an extraordinary event there too. But having races at these venues that are more old school, that have more of the small track feel. It's a big, huge deal for our competitors to go to a place that has fans that are that appreciative and that excited about meeting these folks, meeting the funny car racers and the nitro racers that run our brand of racing. That's really where Funny Car Chaos comes from, and that will always be a part of our DNA and probably our primary markets for the foreseeable future. Can't wait.
Yes, sir. Cannot wait. And all the markets, from the big ones to the small ones. And I definitely have a passion for the small ones. If anybody looks at my content on Monday Morning Racer, I'm going to the small tracks, if not just as much, if not more, than the big tracks. And I was able to, this year, first time experiencing MoCan. And Chris had talked about it, how great those fans are. And I believe them. I'm a believer after going to MoCan 2 times this year. They definitely show up and show out, and they're enthusiastic. But what a fascinating schedule we already have. That Classic will fall in between the Gators and the next race for the NHRA. You never know who might, on their way from east to west, stop in and participate in some Funny Car Chaos. And then we go back to State Capitol Raceway. What a great crowd it was last time, and we only had like 17 cars. Imagine 30-something cars of Funny Car Chaos at State Capitol. They're going to go wild because people are already chiming in on social media that they're so excited for Chaos to come back to State Capitol. And then we're going to, have Cinco de Mayo going on out there at Odessa. So I've already asked Chris if I can wear a sombrero, and he said, yes, I can. And I plan on doing that all weekend long. And sí, senor. Interview. Yeah.
Well, a word of warning: the wind in West Texas might take your sombrero to parts unknown.
I gotta have a strap on there for sure. But we, obviously on that particular graphic as well was the doubleheader, and Cordova was such a great race, even though it was an exhibition race. And now to have it on the points calendar and Cordova being so historic, I think it adds so much for Funny Car Chaos that a series like Funny Car Chaos can race somewhere that is so historic and foundational to what drag racing in its totality is. It's so cool.
Yeah, it is. And, going back to that part of our DNA, you look at what Cordova is and how long Cordova has been that historic place. Amarillo was the same way. Penwell doesn't have quite that big a history, but it's got the length of time. It really, really does. And, Proud American Motorsports Chaos loves you guys too. And hope to see you coming back. But, MoCan, these tracks that we go to that have been racing for decades. I mean, since the 60s, and Cordova since the 50s. It's just amazing the heritage that we walk into as soon as we pull into the gate, and to have the chance to be at the places that we used to read about, that I used to read about in Carcraft and Hot Rod and National Dragster and Superstock and Pop Rod. Those kind of things, you dream about it. Lee, our drivers, almost all of them to a person, talk about, this is something I dreamed about.
Yes.
Was someday I was going to be a part of, I was going to drive a funny car. I was going to have a funny car. And I used to think I was going to drive one, but I really like my seat very, very well. And it's so much fun to get to cover this and
Yes.
to bring it to the fans. And of course, the YouTube channel, our Facebook page, all those places where you can like and subscribe and share and enjoy. Man, that's what it's for. So, our Instagram page and all of that, it is so much fun to see the interaction and to get a chance to know who you are out there that's tuning into these shows and wants to know just as much as we want to know about all the things that are going on in Chaos Nation. It's a thrill. It's a thrill every day, and it just keeps getting more fun. The fun meter just keeps getting pegged. Jeff Krug.
For sure. Well, David, again, another great CHAOS Live. Good to see you. Good to be on live with you. And as David mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, look, hit that like button, hit the share button, and be sure to come right back here on the Funny Car CHAOS platforms and join us for another CHAOS Live. We intend to keep them going on through the off season and keep bringing you content. So make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, you have liked and or followed the Facebook page, that you're definitely following the Instagram page as well, and be looking for content all the way up to the first race of 2023, the Funny Car CHAOS Classic at the Texas Motorplex. David, anything else?
I don't have anything else except to wish you well and blessings to your family. And to say to all of our family out there in CHAOS Nation that we can't wait to see you, can't wait to interact with you and engage yet again. Y'all have a great week. We'll see you soon.
Chris and Debbie Williams and Williams Brothers Racing, thank you, and you know why. Godspeed, all.